Hey everybody, welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to tell you what I think is the best public match class other than the M4. I know it seems like everywhere you see it. My guess would be like 90 or 95% of kills in this entire game have come from the M4, and I kind of just got sick of using it. It's also my highest rated gun, but it's not my highest KD gun. My highest KD weapon is actually the PKM, and that's what you see on screen. I think if you're trying to just win and get a large amount of kills, I think the PKM is the way to go. Quick note about the gameplay in the background. What you're watching me play is just some free-for-all. I figured if I went ahead and hopped into a free-for-all game, you could watch me get 29, 30 some odd kills pretty quickly. One thing I will say pay attention to is that I'm kind of constantly moving from one side of the map to the other. I don't really sit and camp very often. That's just not my play style. So even using an LMG and even playing pretty quickly, I'm still able to win this game by a pretty large margin. And a lot of it has to do with just how deadly the PKM is. So pay attention to that. But with that, let's go ahead and explain a little bit about the class. Alright, so if we go ahead and actually talk about the class here, you'll see I'm using the PKM. If I go over to Gunsmith, the first thing I use is a barrel. I use this one in the middle, but all three of them will be fine. I like this one just because it gives me a little bit more range and it controls recoil a little bit better than the other two. So 26.9-inch extended barrel. I go ahead and I hop over to an optic. I use holographic sights on guns like this. I know a lot of people like the reflex and the mini reflex and stuff like this, but if I'm using a gun such as the PKM, what really offers me an advantage over other people is when I zoom in a little bit more and it hits a lot harder at range. So I'll go ahead and I'll use a holographic sight. In terms of a perk, I'll use FMJ. This allows me to shoot through walls, especially in this game where it's a little bit glitchy when people are like up against walls. A lot of times I can see through the walls. In terms of like if somebody's on the other side of the wall and they're backed up against it, you can kind of see their legs and whatnot. So FMJ allows me to get those kills. Then the grip tape, whatever you want to use here. Again, for this one I use the staple grip tape just because it helps with that ADS time a little bit. I know LMGs are really slow with ADS, but they hit really hard, so this helps just a tiny bit in that regards. And then last but not least, I use this snatch grip. Any of these four grips will be fine. I like this one just because it offers a little bit of ADS time as well as the recoil control. So I like this one, but honestly any of these four grips are fine, but you definitely want it so that you can control that recoil a little bit. Finishing out here, I use the Deagle as my secondary just so I have something that I can switch to that's a little bit faster. If I'm playing ground war, I'll go in and I'll replace this with either the Joker or the RPG just so that I can kill those annoying tanks. My perks always stay the same. I always use EOD, that way I don't die from claymores. I use Ghost because everybody runs UAVs, and I use Battle Hardened, that way I don't get flashed by the 4,000 flash grenades or stun grenades or whatever that are thrown throughout the course of a map. Then these can switch also. I like to throw frags. It's just how it is. I just use frags all the time, and I like flashes also. But if I'm playing ground war, I'll switch this to a smoke. That way, if I have to make a cut, so if I have to cross a cut that normally a lot of people are looking at, I'll throw the smoke. That way I can run through it and not get shot at. And if you want to put claymores or something, if you're playing search, something like that, then by all means you can do that also. But in terms of the actual class, that's what it is. Alright guys, so there's about 45 seconds or so left in this gameplay. If you want to stick around and finish watching me get this win, then by all means, please do that. Thanks again for watching this video. In the comments down below, let me know what your second favorite gun is. I know most people are going to say the M4. I think this gun's a little bit more lethal than the M4. But if I had to, like if I was playing a competitive match or something, I would use the M4. But I think if you want to slow it down a little bit and just make sure you're guaranteeing those kills and going for high kill streaks and stuff, I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with the PKM. So thanks again for checking out another video. If you're new around here, please subscribe. I just saw my analytics and like 60-some% of the people that are watching my videos aren't subscribed. So make sure you do that. And thanks again. I will catch you in the next one. See ya.